Hey everyone. Hi. I'm Roberto's second, and this is Thursday on a very cold and snowy November 15th, excuse me. Crazy weather out there. I hope everyone, whether they're getting home, coming home from work, traveling, just safe travels wherever you go and be very careful. And hopefully everyone has a great day. So, all right, let's get into it. So MLB offseason is upon us, obviously. There are things that teams are making moves and situations are happening. So let's get into it. Specifically, let's start off with the Yankees. New York Yankees offseason. So far it's gone okay. There hasn't been, huge acquisitions yet. But, that's gonna always take time. Obviously, they did already get some players that they hopefully wanted back. With CC, they got him back. Brett Gardner, they got him back. So that was great to see. That really was. Then you also have some upcoming free agencies. But before I get into that, there was, the award ceremonies that's going on for Rookie of the Year and things like that. Unfortunately, neither rookie for the Yankees, whether it was Andujar or Gleyber Torres, did not get Rookie of the Year. It went to Otani, who was the pitcher and hitter for the Los Angeles Angels, the Anaheim Angels. So we'll see how that, obviously it went great for Otani. He got the award. It was unfortunate. I mean, I get it, him getting the award. Obviously, I think there's a reason for it, especially it's something rare to see when you have a hitter and a pitcher doing, one person doing the same thing. Hasn't really happened since obviously Babe Ruth. So I know that's an allure and I get it. And I get it, he won. I get it, but it was just kind of unfortunate. It was almost like a blowout in that he got so many more votes than Andujar. I know Gleyber Torres probably wouldn't have gotten it because he is in the rookie conversation 100%. He is. But, he was just his counterpart, and Duhar had a better season than him. But for Otani to get it, yeah, that's fine. But, with Otani to get way more votes than Andujar, it's kind of crazy. One being is that Andujar played way more games than Otani. A lot more games. He broke records. He broke a record for the Yankees. He broke a DiMaggio record, and that's rare for that to happen. He broke a record that Joe DiMaggio held for a very long time, and he broke it. And so there's things like that. Him getting a lot of hits, him producing not just in the playoffs, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs. I know this is award more for the regular season, but still, he was a main cog in that team. He helped them, even though he isn't great defensively, and that's something he's got to work on. But he's a rookie, so I just think, yeah, he might have not had to win it, that he was not going to win it, but it should have been closer with the votes than it was. That's really just the biggest thing. But I get it, Otani won it. Good for him, and we'll see how his seasons and his time in MLB will go. How much better will he stick to doing the dual thing, or will he be more of a hitter or a pitcher? We'll see on that. But back more to the offseason. So Yankees have acquired some players that they were hoping to bring back with CC and Brett Gardner. Now they're also trying to see maybe you get David Robinson back, some other players. But one in with regards to offseason players, the big ones that they're trying to get here, with Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Bryce Harper obviously probably is not going to happen, just especially since they brought back Brett Gardner. And it's just you already have so many people in the outfield. With you have Brett Gardner, then you have Giancarlo Stanton, then you have Aaron Hicks. Then on top of that, you have Jacoby Ellsbury coming back into the mix, who's healthy and should be healthy. You have already that. Then you have in the minor leagues, you have someone who's he's coming from off concussions, and we'll see what happens. But you have someone in the minor leagues who also who's going to be a serviceable and could be an outfielder in Frazier. So it's just so many things already in that outfield. How are you going to do this? So Bryce Harper probably is not going to happen, but you never know. It's Major League Baseball. Maybe they figure out a way to trade Jacoby Ellsbury where they eat some of the money but not all of it, or maybe something happens to keep player gets injured. But right now, it seems like it's not going to happen with Bryce Harper. But the other one that could happen is Manny Machado. That guy's still in play, and it seems like the Yankees are interested in him. Now they're not 100% interested, and who knows what exactly that means? Because I mean, I don't. think anyone in Major League Baseball is going to tip their hand to the media or in any way, really. So this is all obviously speculation, but knowledgeable speculation, as they say. But I think Manny Machado, the thing is with him, talent wise, the best player you can get, other than probably better than probably Bryce Harper, just because he's not in the outfield, he's in the infield. He's young. Obviously, Bryce Harper is young, but he's just a better hitter. It seems like. And Manny Machado, he plays positions. He can play multiple positions. That's always helpful. But that's not something they're going for. I'm sure they would want whoever team he signs for, want him to stay in one position. But as great of a player Manny Machado is, there's some fallbacks, some drawbacks to getting him. One, it seems like honestly that at least recently the reputation he's gotten from players is that he's a dirty player. And that's something that I don't think no matter how good of a talent you are, would a teammate or players want that in their locker room. Someone who is a dirty player, or maybe he isn't, but is labeled a dirty player by other respected players in the league. Maybe not. That's one reason. And another one, he doesn't hustle. Now, it's not always important to hustle, but it's one of those things where like anyone can say, "Yeah, I can't play Major League Baseball, but if I could and I had to, I could run down first base as fast as I could." And it may not be fast, but as fast as you can, that's something he lacks. Now, I know other Yankee fans are going to say, "Well, there was Robinson Cano." And Robinson Cano, you're absolutely right. He was a very good player, very great second baseman for the New York Yankees, and obviously done pretty good for the Mariners. Unfortunately, now with his steroid situation, his everything looks a lot different now. Thinking back, but take that aside for a moment. Yeah, he was a really great player, great defensively and all that, but he didn't hustle, and it wasn't that big of a deal with the Yankees. I mean, people broadcasters and stuff would bring it up and it would be mentioned by the media. But Joe Girardi always said, I will take him not hustling all the time if he plays 150 something games every season. Meaning that basically, as long as he's out there and he's doing what he has to do and he's not hurting us, then I'm not too worried about it, essentially. And that's what you got to determine. The problem with this is it's almost more egregious because at least with Robert Cano, you saw it, but he never really talked about it and said outright, oh, this is what I do, or this is not, or this is something I'm not going to do. With Manny Machado, he clearly spoke to the media and clearly stated this is something he just is incapable of doing, and it doesn't seem like there's anything that would change his mind. Perfect example. Manny Machado went to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that team made it to the World Series, everyone. The World Series. That is where everyone's supposed to shine. This is your moment. You want to win it all to win that World Series championship. And now you have Manny Machado on that stage who can produce in that moment. And yeah, he didn't have the greatest World Series, but that happens. It's unfortunate it happens in World Series. But one thing he controlled was his hustle. And he still didn't do it, people. He still did not hustle in a World Series. In 7 games in that World Series, he didn't really hustle it and do what he had to do and get that. And that's a World Series. So what do you think he's gonna do in the middle of baseball in the dog days of summer? You think he's gonna hustle? I don't think so. So the Yankees have to realize: is this something they really want to do? Are they really gonna get a guy who could cause some tension in the room? And yeah, maybe players won't care about it, and that's probably right. I don't think they would, as long as they say he's a good guy in the locker room, he treats us with respect, everything goes well, they're not going to worry about it. But there's the aspect of the media. Yeah, he told everyone that. Is now, if the Yankees sign him or whoever signs him, is he going to be someone where he says, oh, that's not what I said? Or they're going to ask him, oh, what do you think? They'll go to players. Oh, CC, what do you think about Manny Machado not hustling, down the first base line? And so in that way, do you want to deal with that where the media could, and it's not the media's fault because that's a good question to ask. Maybe you're not, I hope they don't ask it all the time because then it gets a little excessive. But, there are going to be moments, key moments, maybe, where you see that. Do you want that happening? And could this influence maybe another thing to think about are rookies, not maybe rookies on the team now, but upcoming people from AAA to coming to major leagues or someone from AA and seeing, oh, this is how Manny Machado does it. And he's someone who's has all this money, who is a great player, and this is how he does it. Why should I deviate from that? Why should maybe they learn from me? Maybe I should do what Machado's doing. It's working for him. Maybe it'll work for me. So I don't know. Honestly, you have to, and obviously they're gonna do their due diligence. You interview him, you see what he says, but you gotta take some of it with a grain of salt because he's already spoken about this, and he's clearly stated he is not gonna hustle no matter what. So if that's the case, I don't know what he can tell you other than he says, yes, that is true what I said. Maybe it's not, I didn't, maybe it's not as clearly as I should have said it, or maybe he says, yes, that is true, but I'm not gonna do that this time, or I'm gonna try harder or something. But if he tells the truth, then it's up to the Yankees. And if he doesn't, you gotta read between the line. Is this someone who hasn't done it all his baseball life, really not hustling, and now that his big contract's on the line, and he still didn't do it, and now you're gonna talk to him in interviews, and he says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it." You gotta really decide that. And if that's something you want to do and you want to take that, go ahead. But then they got no kick coming, or any team has a kick coming, say, oh my God, this guy, we're in a 2 year deal, 2 years of his like 10-year contract, and he's really not hustling. Imagine what he's going to do towards the seventh or eighth year of that contract. And he's really going to look a lot worse because he's older, things happen, and now it's going to be even more egregious. So if it's worth that and they know that's coming, then go ahead. And then you could get out in front of it and say, when you have the introductory press conference before the season starts, and you have, Manny Machado clearly states, yeah, they signed me. It's great to be a Yankee, whatever he says. And they ask him, oh, are you going to, hustle or not? And he says, yeah, I'm not going to hustle. It's one of those things that maybe I could work on, but it doesn't look like that. If he clearly states that, then hey, you go with it. You see what happens, and hopefully he doesn't influence any of the other players, and it doesn't become too much of an issue. And you have him who could play, who he'll probably, if he was with the Yankees this season, will probably play shortstop because Gregorius is injured. But another thing the Yankees have to tell him, I think, is yeah, you'll be the shortstop this season, but the rest of your contract, I'm gonna move you to third base, or at least until Didi is not with us anymore. Because yeah, he's a good shortstop, but he's a phenomenal third baseman. Statistics show that. Everything shows that. Analytically, he's just way better at third base than shortstop. So you have to tell him that. And if he agrees to that, he agrees to it. And there you go. He's going to be a Yankee, but we don't know. We'll see on that front, but that's just one of the takes I think that the Yankees just really have to make a decision on that, and they just have to live with it one way or the other. Now, let's transition to the Mets. The Mets offseason so far is interesting. Obviously, they have a new GM. That's interesting to see. The GM is someone not typical who you think. He is someone he was basically someone who advocated for the players on their behalf with their contracts, and that's what he did. He was really into that, and that's what he wanted to do. He was an agent for players, and now he's become a GM. It's interesting to see how that will work out. Honestly, I think it could be a good move, but the Mets really have to make this work. They can't just be something that they do and say, oh, we'll see what happens. They really got to know what they're going and have a plan, and he really has to be all in on this, and we'll see what happens with that. But with regards to National League and awards, the pitcher, DeGrom, he got the nod. He got the National League Pitcher Award, and it was well deserved. I think he deserved that. The way he pitched for the Mets, the ERA he had, the way that no matter how many games he pitched in, the Mets always didn't help him offensively that much. He was like one of the low in the Mets pitchers. He was one of the ones that had the lowest when it came to hitters being productive for him. He was one of the lowest in that category, where hitters would come up and they couldn't produce for their starting pitcher that day. He was the one of the ones that were in that kind of category. He had great ERA, he had great command, he's just a great overall pitcher. I could see why he won, and I think he should. Yeah, he may not have gotten the wins, but in Major League Baseball now, with all the analytics, wins don't really matter anymore. It's not something that is focused on, just for the fact that, look, yeah, starting pitcher could go, 30 wins. That probably won't happen. But let's say 30, 25. Yeah, that's great. But then you could have a reliever who comes in the fifth inning, and the pitcher cannot pitches, gets taken out in the fourth, and then the relief pitcher comes in the fifth. He gets that win, and he only, let's say, pitch one inning or two. So there's things like that where it's just kind of the wins are taken aside and like, it's not really what it used to be. I understand that. So For the Mets, they obviously are happy that I'm sure, at least definitely DeGrom is, that he got that win. He got that award. I'm sure he's very happy. And we'll see. There's not really much to report with the Mets going forward yet, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure they want to contend, and we're going to see how this works out. But other than that, there's not much to that. That's what's going on for the Yankees and Mets. When I come back, I'll be talking about some NFL.